Okay, I think we'll go ahead and get started. So I want to first off, I'd like to thank everybody for coming to this webinar. And it's really like I know the title's Unlocking the Possibilities, and we've really done some good things for MineScape 2023. So if during this presentation, if you have any questions, there's a Q&A button up top. You can do that. If it's really something that you need some discussion with, you can raise your hand and we'll see if we can get to that. But it's this is going to be a very short webinar, and it's really planned for a half hour. And we've got a lot of things to cover in this half hour. And I don't want to keep you guys much longer than 30 minutes because you guys have day jobs and we get to play in Mindscape. So somebody's got to do the work. But what I really want to do is highlight some of the new products that we built in Mindscape 2023. So I've got a few slides first in the PowerPoint presentation, and then we'll go into a Mindscape 2023 demo. So one of the first things I'd really want to make a point to let people know is how active we are in our development. And you can see from this particular slide, we've had 22 updates of Mindscape since 20 December of 2018. Now, we came to Datamine in July of 2019. And since then, we've had 19 updates of Mindscape. And there's been 5 major releases and 9 minor releases just of Mindscape 2021. And I hope everybody realizes that Mindscape 2023 was released June 16th of this year. So we're active in our development, and we want that message to be clear to everybody. And it's all because of the users, what you guys are pushing us. So it's a good thing. Now I thought I'd go through because there might be some people that don't know what Mindscape is all about and how integrated Mindscape is. And it's a piece of software that it's not bloated at all. It has all these applications within products. So if we look at this particular slide, you can see that we have actually in Mindscape 2021 we had 4 different products. Now in 2023 we've added 3 other ones: scheduling, drone surveying, and survey data manager. And each one of these products, these geology products, these products all have multiple applications. So if you purchase a license of geology, you get all these. Same for surface engineering, you get all these. So there's no add-ons or anything like that. You get those applications. These are the new products for Mindscape 2023 scheduling. And this is our tactical scheduler. This is our ultra short range scheduler, which uses the Binge Blocks or engineering solids also. It's the multi-mesh. We have drone surveying, so you can bring in images in and generate point clouds. And then we have our survey data manager where you can actually manage your data. So those are 3 brand new products for 2023. I thought I'd go through and talk a little bit about the surface engineering applications. Now, I know we might have some geologists on board here or on this webinar, and sorry, we are doing some nice geology work anyway for the future. But surface engineering, as you can see in this slide, it's pretty busy. Now, these are just 4 of the 6 of the tabs out of 9. So as you can see, the open cut has 22 plus functions associated with it, and strip planning 16 plus, and bench blocks 9 plus, for a total of over 80 features and functions. So I guess the point I'm trying to make is Mindscape is pretty feature rich and with all its functionality. So it pretty much can handle almost anything that you can throw at it from a mine planning perspective. Now, these are other slides. Other applications: drilling and blasting, haulage roads, and dragline. And between those 3, it adds another 150 features and functions. So again, even the specialized applications have a lot of functionality and feature rich. So if you haven't tried some of these, if you currently have 2021, MineScape 2021, or you installed 2023, give these things a go because they're pretty good tools. Now let's go into MineScape 2023, talk a little bit about this, and then we'll go into a demo. What we've done in MineScape 2023, this is the new start page you're seeing, is we've had to do a rebranding, and we did this so we can have some continuity in our portfolio. We've done a start page refresh. We've added some animated backgrounds and some more static background pictures and things like that to make it, amp it up a little. And then, of course, the big thing is these three new products, or these new products we've added. That's the biggest jump you'll see. Now, we've also added a dashboard. So now these are live dashboards. So you can access data from any source. It could be a database, it could be Excel files, it could be table files, it could be just, text files. And you can see this data now in MineScape at a glance. We've also added screen recording and screen capture. People have asked for that. How can I capture all the functions that I use on a day-to-day basis? Well, we've given you the capability now on your toolbar. We have an archive and recover, and I'll demo that a little bit in MineScape. But most of the time, geologists and engineers and surveyors, we're pretty much data hoarders. And now all of a sudden your project areas, they do get bloated with a whole bunch of data. Now you can move this data out of the way and not lose it, but free up that space at your project level. And you can also recover. We also have included a report designer, pretty comprehensive set of tools. So if you don't like our reports, or we're not giving you something you really you need, you can go ahead and generate your own report design. You can generate your own report from this designer. And again, this can come from multiple data sources. Charts and graphs and flat files can all be in one report. Some other things we've added, we've added a Spry export utility, so you can take your multi-mesh engineering solids and take not only the geometry of the solids, but also all the metadata, and you can import it directly into Spry. We've added new Binge Block intersection and splitting, and I'll do a little bit of splitting in the demo, but I'm not going through the Binge Block intersection. So what this does is it makes the engineering that much more efficient. So you don't have to define all those intervals. You can lay out your blocks and have MineScape do all this intersection. You still have to do the splitting because you'll have to give it the cover lines. Dump block creation, in order for us to enhance or use the functionality of the scheduler, we actually built some functionality to help you lay out dump blocks. We've done some Min-X import updates and some res graphics updates. Now, a couple other things, big ticket items. MineScape Central, it's going to come out in the next update or two. But I wanted to highlight this for you for 2023 because now you'll be able to view data from MineScape on a mobile device out in the field. So once you publish the data from your designs, you could take it right out in the field and view it. One of the big items is we changed our licensing system. So we moved from one company or vendor to this one called Reprise licensing, and we did that because it's cloud-based licensing. So now you can run MineScape anytime, anywhere, and just access the cloud for your license. We backfitted into MineScape 7, MineScape 2021, and of course, it only runs in 2023. So if you wish to run MineScape 2021 with MineScape 2023, you have to upgrade. We've also added exclusions now in MineScape in the geology section. So whatever you can design, whatever you can define with a wireframe or a mesh, you can bring it into, you can apply it in the strat model now. This is a new tactical scheduler. This is a new product that takes full advantage of all the functionality in MineScape we've built over the last couple of years. Some of the big things are dump animation, Gantt scheduling, and now when you want to run reports, you use pivot tables. And I'll demo that. Drone surveying, survey data manager. This, we wanted to make MineScape a suite, a united, an integrated suite. So surveyors can now come into MineScape and do all their surveying from drones and have that information readily, just in time, accessible to the engineers and geologists. And it's really comprehensive functionality, extensive functionality in here. So if you're using a different software to do your drone surveying, I'm pretty sure MineScape can do the same thing for you. Now, quickly on the roadmap before I get into a demo, these are some of the things we're going to do. Big ticket items, the interactive haul simulation or cycle time calculator. We're going to do some rapid pits, rapid ramps, rapid dumps. We're going to do a new correlation app. Some pit optimization enhancements. We're looking at a new drill hole engine to amp up our strat modeling capabilities. Rapid CAD enhancements, mesh enhancements for sure, some small engineering enhancements. We've done a lot of work for dragline enhancements already. And SRP, short range planning tools. We want to integrate it with Binge Block, our Binge Block functionality. And we need to make sure our Binge Block support block models. And SRP supports block models. So that's what I have for a PowerPoint. And I guess the next thing I want to do is just go into a demo for you. So what I'll do is I'll get the demo ready to go. Okay, so let's go to the demo for MineScape 2023. Now, this is the start page, not much different from 2021, really, except we've added 3 new products: scheduling, drone surveying, and survey data manager. We've also given you some options to add animated backgrounds or go back to static backgrounds. So you got quite a few images you can choose from. It's pretty cool. The license manager is pretty much the same as what you're used to using in 2021, except now you can have cloud-based licensing. So that's pretty good. We've also given you an archive and recover functionality. You know, engineers and geologists are notorious for hoarding data. Well, now here's an option to go ahead and archive, basically move your data from one location to an archive location, pick and choose what data types you'd like to move, what's the frequency to move them, like older than 1 year, whatever. Check every so many days, in this case, every 14 days. So you can, when you archive it, it creates a file for it, it creates a log for you, and so it knows where this data lives. And then you turn right around and recover. You can use this to recover those files or bring them back into your project. No more counting on IT to do it, turning in tickets, etc. It's pretty good. It works good. It cleans up projects. It moves that data out of the way so you don't lose it. The other thing, we have a report designer, but I'm going to have to load up a project first. So let me go ahead and start the project that we'll look at for scheduling. So if I bounce back out here to the start page, notice we've added some more tools. The one thing here is a report designer. We've given you the capability to build your own report. So in this example I'll show is we wanted to summarize some table data that we output it to Excel. So what I'm going to do is just open open that report. Pretty simple. You drag and drop from your Explorer over here to your designer, how you want your form, your report to look like. You assign the data source from, in this case, it's an Excel data source, but it could very easily be database. So I've brought in an Excel file. If I just open up Excel, so I can show you that file, what it looks like. I'll just open it right quick. So this is the Excel file that we're going to summarize. And if you notice, it's actually a reserve table. I think it has 445 rows. Yep, 445 rows. So it's a whole bunch of data that, in this case, kind of sometimes hard to do. We built a report to go ahead and summarize this. If I preview that report, that's what it is. So those 444 rows turned out to be this many rows in there. So it's that simple to build your own report. And if you're done, you just close it spreadsheet editor, and go back out here to the start page. And on a big monitor or a smaller monitor, you can actually split these windows now. So in this case, I have 3 columns. That's typical default, but you can also do it this way for two columns on your projects. Now, if we go back into MineScape and talk a little bit about the scheduling. Scheduling is really leveraging the Binge Blocks functionality, and the Binge Blocks functionality can be found under OpenCut, but it's an app by itself. So I'll have to go out here and load it up. So the Binge Blocks, so you'll lay out your Binge Blocks. In this case, again, it's interactive. You just lay out your Binge Blocks, you slice them up, and you reserve them to get the metadata into it. So if I highlight one of these elements or one of these solids, you can see this is all the metadata over here in your metadata doc, your properties doc actually. And so a whole bunch of information associated with that. Same for dumps. Now we've added another feature for dumps too. If you notice that this dump actually has multiple blocks in it, and under OpenCut dump mesh, now you can go ahead and create a solid dump mesh. You can create it from here, or you can bring in already created one and then slice it up by inputting and outputting your mesh here. This first one's building it, this one's importing it, this one is the naming, how you want to name your bench, and this is how you put the grid on your mesh to create your dump blocks. It's really quick, it's fast, it's easy to use, it's interactive. So once I have my pits laid out and my dump laid out, I can go right into scheduling. So I'll fire up the scheduling app. And schedule is using SQL Server. So I'm gonna have to open the data. In this case, I already have one created. I've just opened the database. So you can have multiple databases out there. And the nice thing about it is you can go ahead and export these databases and have other people import them into their project area so they can continue where you left off. When you open up the scheduler, you get a Schedule Explorer, and what that gives you, it gives you the ability to review or look at the data that you're going to bring into your schedule. In this case, I'm bringing in some Binge Blocks, these Binge Blocks and these solids. Now these are defined when you first get it set up. So it's pretty simple. Your database, when you create your database, you can have it either use equipment utilization or real date calendars. And what that does is it either desensitizes or opens up options up here, depending on how you want to run. No, it's no big deal. And you set up your hierarchy, how you want to do your pit and dump. It's that simple. You can always go back in here and you can bounce back and forth between equipment utilization and real date calendars. You get that done. The next thing you do is you'll map you'll map your material to your source. Source is metadata. You set up a mind map. A mind map defines how you want your material to flow. In this case, I'm going from my truck shovel pit, my truck shovel operation to an in-pit dump. That's this. These are my TS blocks, and this is my dump block. From these truck shovel blocks and dump blocks, we can go right back into the mind map, and you'll see what I'm talking about. So now all you have to do is assign the mesh to the dump, assign the mesh to, the mesh to the pit, a mesh to the dump, and you're ready to go. Go back here to setup. We have our source. You set up your equipment. Just define your equipment and what group and type they belong to. I would go ahead and set my production rates. So if I look at the 2700, my production rate is going to remove waste. Okay, at 1,000, in this case, 1,000 cubic meters an hour, you set up all your equipment, your diggers, and then what you need to do is you need to go ahead and set up your trucks. In this case, my 789, you set up your load, your bucket, your load factors, and your bucket fill factor for your trucks. And because we don't have a haul simulator yet, you actually have to go in here and type in your cycle time. So if I look at my truck fleets, my 789s, it's going to be destinations, the in-pit dump. It's coming from the truck shovel operation. It's a 30-minute cycle time. You also have wait times for your diggers and stockpiles and dumps. You can set those. And then you can set up your ancillary equipment, however you want to do it. If you're worried about drilling, you can set up your drills. You can set up blasters. You can set up all these other functions if you want to. Some people will, some people won't, but it will go ahead and schedule it for you. Once you get this set up, you can also add in custom metadata. So in this case, like drill meters, number of blast holes, swell burden, total explosives, that's not reserved. You have to create those on yourself by yourself. So you just set up custom metadata that gets applied to all your blocks. Then you set up your activity map. An activity map, it defines all your activities that you want to schedule. In this case, I've got 4 of them: drill grade prep, waste drilling, and waste blasting, truck shovel operation. Each one of these activities has default equipment and diggers and trucks set up and the material moved. So once you get your mind map made up, you have your blocks, you're ready to go. You can go right into sequencing. You can set up your sequence however you want to do it, by interactive, line, polygon, range. You can set dependencies. This can be done until a block above me or to the left of me or whatever is completed. And before you can set a sequence, so I have to make sure now that I have my activity set and I have a sequence set. So I'll make sure I have a sequence, it's highlighted, it's ready to go. My activities, again, I have to make sure what do I want to schedule. And so I'm just going to schedule drill grade, truck shovel, waste drilling, waste blasting. So I have 4 activities set. Sequence is ready to go. You can do it interactive. So I'll select these blocks. You can also do a range. So I want to go from this block to say this block. So I have 8 in there now. I'll do one more. I need to get this block right here. Well, it tells me it can't do it because I've exceeded my capacity. No big deal. What I'll do is use this new functionality called rapid split. I'm going to select that block. It's going to split it. I don't like the way it's split it. I want to go more perpendicular to the cut, to the block. So I'll just move that line. It does a rapid split. I'm still too big. So that's that. Or you can go right to statistics and say, I want block A to be 5,000. Oh, that's percentage. Block A to be 5,000. I hit run. It does intersections for me. It tells me it's 5,000. Good enough. I like it. I get committed. And you have an opportunity to undo it, but I'm just going to cancel it. I won't put it in my sequence. This sequence built now, the schedule's already completed. have all the information I need. I can turn right around and do an animation to see if it's worth going forward. So I'm just going to go ahead and animate it, and this is just a slider bar. So you can see it's cutting my material and it's dumping my material. Pause it. I can go forward. I can go backwards. Whatever. Okay, so now let's look at the Gantt view. So if I just open up my Gantt view and zoom in, so now you can see, as an example, when my truck is going to start, it says it's not going to be able to start in this first block until the 25th of July. My schedule started on the 24th. So I've got to do drill grade prep, I've got to drill it, I've got to blast it, and then shovel operation can start. And you can see how it's all tied in. Dozer grade prep, This is drilling, truck shovel. So you can view the Gantt along with the sequence. So it's pretty cool. If you're done with this, you can just kill the Gantt view. You could set you have equipment views for the Gantt, calendar view, detailed view. So there's all kinds of ways to view the Gantt chart, schedule from it, put your delays in. You'll see the schedule change. You can also do a pivot grid. And a pivot grid is just a way to report your data. So I already have one open or built. So I'll just open it. I've just added a few things to it, so you can always add more things in here. If you want to know your shovel hours, where's my shovel hours? You can get rid of your shovel mining rate. Don't want it. You can also, what's nice about this is you can go ahead and report it onto your dashboard. On a new dashboard, I didn't have one created, but I could actually open one up. So we'll go ahead and open one up, show you what a dashboard does. This is the dashboard that was built off an Excel folder. It's dead simple if I want to go ahead and edit this. So now you can see your widgets up here. I go over here and edit this. It tells me it's an Excel spreadsheet. I selected the cells, and every one of these are different. You can see I even brought a to-do list in here. Dead simple to build it. So I can actually go back in here, save this file. Then if I go back into schedule and then throw this data out to this multiple stuff dashboard. So there's my dashboard. So now I can rip this off. I can watch my schedule. These quantities change in my schedule. So in a nutshell, that's schedule. Okay. Now the other one we have is drone surveying. I don't have time to go through it, but you can actually have import images from a drone, and you can classify these images. You can delete points. You can filter. You can create break lines, orthomosaic image, all your meshes, and it's all managed for you. Okay. That's what we have for this quick webinar. Now, I know there's probably a lot of questions that you all might have, and just one of them is talk a little bit about the dashboard, where you can share these dashboards. So you can actually put them at a high level folder directory, and anybody that can run MineScape will be able to view these dashboards. Now, I would use them more for my scheduling capacity, so I can see all that information at a glance. You can be able to grab the maintenance records and things like that and put them on a dashboard. Again, you can share all those. And the other thing is, a question might come up like, on your long range, can you use this for long range scheduling? It wasn't designed for that. It's designed for ultra short range scheduling, but you can very easily go ahead and use your long range engineering solids and use the tactical scheduler with that if you wanted to, for maybe a year, year or two, I would think. Remember, it's a handful of blocks. You're only working with a handful of blocks, but there's a lot of functions and features we've added into MineScape 2023, and it's pretty powerful. Some of the stuff we've done, and we're not done. As you saw on that that release schedule, we're not done. We're going to continue to have releases. We're going to continue to beef this stuff up. So that's all I have. If anybody has any questions, I'll be more than happy to take questions or comments or concerns. It doesn't matter to me any. Again, if you think about this, if you think of a question, go ahead and send us an email. You can send it through the support, or you can send it directly to me, jim.sronce@dataminesoftware.com, and I'll be more than happy to answer it for you. So we're going to have more of these webinars, and they're going to be more focused on, probably singular products or apps. But I wanted to get this message out to everybody, how far MineScape 2023 has come, even since MineScape 2021. So give it a shot, and we go from there. I want to thank you all for coming. I really appreciate the time you took out of your day to have a visit with us. So,
Jim, I got a comment. When are you going to focus on geology, particularly the faulting and the correlations?
that's on the roadmap. That we're actually in the process, Ian, of looking at a new drill hole engine. Okay, and we're working on that, and we've got resources slated to amp up the correlation. We'll have a new correlation app, along with some other functionality that I'll be more than happy to chat with you about. And I think you'll be pleased.
What's the timeline on that, roughly?
In the next, probably in the next year. So there's a lot of work, Ian, that we're putting into this. It's going to be kind of a big change.
Okay.
So we're working on it, Ian. We're not leaving it behind.
Yep. Good. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Any other questions? Thanks.